Hello everyone. Now let's start performing the practical on alternator, that is direct loading method of calculating the voltage regulation. Here, as I've already told you, there are two methods, direct loading and indirect loading method. When the machine rating exceeds 5 kilowatt, we have to switch towards the indirect loading method. Still we are going to study the effect of direct loading method. There are many limitations of direct loading method, so we are adopting indirect method, but still we will study first the direct loading method. Here again the same part. This is the DC shunt motor, which is nothing but a use as prime mover. Field winding and armature are connected in parallel. There is a rheostat in field winding for the purpose of adjusting the speed to the synchronous value. In our case it is 1500 rpm. To this setup of shunt motor, we are applying a plus minus volt 220 volt DC supply. So this is about the prime mover circuit. Here it is in field winding for the purpose of excitation. I will be applying plus minus 220 volt DC supply. This field rheostat is used for the purpose of adjusting the field current, ultimately the field flux. This particular part is what is the stator of alternator, and the output of the stator are brought out and connected to the three-phase variable resistive load. Voltmeter of 0 to 300 volt is being used for the purpose of measuring the load voltage across any leg you can have, that is R phase, Y phase or B phase. This is the observation table. The terminal voltage line value is 415 volt. We have the per phase value will be 415 divided by root 3, so that comes out to be 239.6 volt. So for all the readings the terminal voltage value will be same, that is 239.6. The load current we will be measuring by the means of ammeter. The field current we have and field ammeter connected there. Next, load voltage we will be measuring across the R phase. You can measure it across Y phase or B phase. After taking all these readings, we will be finding the difference between this 239.6, which is nothing but my EPH, minus V, that is the load voltage, divided by V multiplied by 100. So let's go towards the setup. Yes, we have this as alternator setup. This is the alternator and this is the DC shunt motor. The total connections are brought on the panel. I have already explained. Here it is in positive negative supply. These are the 3-point starters terminals, field winding and armature winding. There is a rheostat connected in the winding field winding. The position of the rheostat should be at the minimum for the safe operation. I will be adjusting this field rheostat to get my alternator run at the synchronous speed, that is 1500 rpm. Coming towards the stator and field terminal of alternator, field is been excited by plus and minus DC supply through this rheostat for adjusting the field current. Now the next one, the stator terminals, that is RYB. The output of the stator terminals are connected to three-phase resistive load bank, where the different loads are connected, and I will be varying the load in the steps. Let's turn on the DC supply for DC shunt motor. You can see it on the indicator. Now I'll start the DC shunt motor with the starter. You can see I have started the DC shunt motor, running the starter from left to right position. Now let's take the speed. The speed should be 1500 rpm, which is the synchronous speed for my DC shunt motor. You can observe it is near about 1506. So I want it as 1500 rpm. I will be adjusting the field rheostat and I will be getting the rated speed, synchronous C. It is 1500 rpm now. So DC shunt motor is running at 1500 rpm. Now towards the alternator side, I am turning on the excitation, DC excitation. I have turned on the DC excitation. You can see the field current has started showing some value. What it means is my excitation is on now. but the load current or armature current which is on AC ammeter is not showing any value. Before that, see, the voltage is having some value, but it is not rated voltage. Why is it so? Because the field excitation is at minimum position. I will be adjusting the field excitation looking at the multimeter, which is the voltmeter, and adjusting the value to 239.6, which is the rated voltage for one phase, that is R phase. I'm connecting the voltmeter. Now yes, you can see it is been adjusted to 239.6. So let's keep it constant, the field excitation, that this is 239.6 volt. And now you can see the armature current or load current is showing zero value. Why is it zero? Because I have not turned on the load. The resistive load is zero. So for that, let's start the load. Now I'll be turning on the load, the main switch of the load. You can see it on an indicator. The load is turned on now. Now let's apply the load. I will be turning on first switch. So after turning on first switch, what you can observe is there is a change in the voltage and current. So let's observe it. Yes, now the voltage has dropped down. You can see the voltage has dropped down to 218 volt and armature current has increased to 1 ampere. So this is about armature current. The field current has not changed. It is 0 0.4, which was set earlier. Why? Because I have not changed the excitation, but what I have changed is the load. So let's note down all these values. EPH is 239.6. My armature or load current is 1 ampere. The load voltage has dropped down to 218 volt. So noting all these values for first reading. Yes. Now let's move towards the second reading. In second set of reading, I will be further changing the load, that is turning on the next switch. So I have turned on the next switch. Yes, you can see there is a further drop in voltage. The new value of voltage is 198 volt. Yes, and if the load voltage is dropped, at the same time the current has increased to 2.8 ampere. Yes, noting it down. Further, you can see the field current is still constant. It is 0.4. Why is it so? Because I have not changed the field excitation. So let's keep it same. Yes, now noting down the second. Similarly, I will be changing the load in a step of 3 switch, 4 switch and so on. So I will be taking a set of 4 readings by varying the load in a step 1, 2, 3, 4 like this and noting down all the values. Here my observation table is ready. For all the value of the load, my excitation current is same, that is 0.4 ampere. My load current is going on increasing. This is my observation. Yes, and my load voltage is getting on decreasing. So as load goes on increasing, the voltage has dropped down its value. That is, drop is increasing. You know, IR drop is causing the drop in voltage. Now for the same 4 set of readings, let's prepare a result table. In the result table, we will be noting down all the 4 observations. That is load current I will be noting down, which will give me the effect of rise of load. So you can see the current has increased. Why? Because the load is increased. So I have noted down all the 4 load currents which is in rising nature. Now let's calculate voltage regulation, EPH minus VPH divided by VPH for each reading. I am completing the regulation table. Yes, my voltage regulation is ready. You can see the least voltage regulation is at first load, that is least load, and as load goes on increasing, the voltage regulation is also going on increasing in a step. And plotting the nature of the graph, what I can observe is percentage voltage regulation versus load current. As the load goes on increasing, the load current is increasing, ultimately load voltage regulation is increasing, that is in a linear proportion. So this is the way by which we can calculate the voltage regulation by direct loading method. But this method of calculating the voltage regulation is not that much significant. Why so? Because it is applicable for only resistive kind of load. If I'll switch to the inductive and capacitive type of load, there is a requirement of power factor which is not known to us. So this method is not appropriate for other types of load. Thank you.